This is breaking news from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Breaking new developments following that mass shooting that left 4 people dead inside an office building in Midtown, including an off-duty NYPD officer. What we've learned about those victims, as well as the shooter and his CTE claims.
And more breaking news. In the midst of the intense heat, subway service is struggling to keep running. Commuters forced to deal with multiple delays and cancellations. Jeff is tracking how hot it will get and when we will see some relief.
Yeah, temperatures making a run at a record this afternoon. That heat wave lasting right through tomorrow with the heat advisories and extreme heat warnings in effect for parts of the area. Relief will come at a price later on in the week, that price being thunderstorms with heavy rainfall. We'll talk about it in AccuWeather.
And good afternoon, I'm David Navarro.
I'm Sandra Bookman. We're going to check in with Jeff in just a few minutes, but there is a lot of new ground to cover following that mass shooting in Midtown. Just moments ago, ABC News obtained an image of the note that the gunman was carrying. As you can see, it read in part, "Study my brain, please. I'm sorry."
Meanwhile, we are also learning more about the victims. 2 men and 2 women were killed. Among them, an NYPD officer, security guard, a woman who worked for the investment firm Blackstone. Another man who worked for the NFL was injured.
The NYPD officer killed was off-duty and working private security. He was assigned to the 47th precinct in the Bronx, where a bunting now hangs.
We have several reporters covering all of the new developments. We're going to begin with Eyewitness News reporter Phil Tate live at the building in Midtown. Phil.
Yeah, David, Sandra, for hours, the NYPD has had this Midtown building barricaded. That's as they search for answers where this tragedy unfolded just last night, as that shooter would walk through those doors, unfortunately claiming the lives of 4 people. We are now learning one of those victims was a security officer. That's along with that Blackstone employee and that off-duty NYPD officer. Now, authorities tell us that the suspect had a note on them. Right now, you're going to get a first look at one of those pages. Take a look at your screen right now. It reads in that note, "Study my brain, please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything." Now, authorities say that there were also references to the NFL claiming that he had suffered from CTE. Now, on your screen right now, this is the suspected gunman that had penned that note, 27-year-old Shane Devon Tomorrow, who cops say traveled from Las Vegas to the Big Apple. We're learning the suspect had played high school football and had a documented mental health history. Blurred images show the suspect on the floor of the 33rd floor with a gun near him, as police found him dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest. Now, all of this went down here at 345 Park, home of the NFL and investment company Blackstone, along with several other companies. The suspected gunman, carrying a long rifle across the building's plaza, entered the front doors and immediately opened fire. Now, Mayor Adams this morning said the suspect took the wrong elevator banks directly to the 33rd floor to Rudin's headquarters, but it appears his intent was to go after the employees at the NFL. Now, those on the floor he went to locked themselves into safe rooms and even a bathroom, just trying to save their lives. And while he praised the security precautions, let's take a listen to what he had to say just a couple of hours ago.
It appears as though he was going after the employees at the NFL. He, from our preliminary investigation, he took the wrong elevator bank up to the NFL headquarters. Instead, it took him to Rudin Management, and that is where he carried out additional shootings and took the lives of additional employees.
And as a mark of respect for that off-duty officer, as well as the other victims involved, Mayor Adams has ordered that all flags be lowered at half-staff. Important to note that there was a 5th person who was seriously injured. They were in critical condition. We now know that they are out of surgery and that they are stable. We are live in Midtown this afternoon. I'm Phil Tate, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Phil, thank you. Now, one of the victims killed in that mass shooting, again, NYPD officer Didarul Islam, an immigrant from Bangladesh. He had served as a police officer in New York City for 3.5 years.
The 36-year-old was a father of 2 with a 3rd child on the way. He was working a second job as a security guard when that gunman stormed into the building and opened fire. Eyewitness News reporter Jaisha Patel continuing our coverage with more on the officer. Jaisha.
Sandra, David, right now we're in the Parkchester section of the Bronx. This is where Officer Islam lived, and we've been talking to his neighbors all morning who are just absolutely heartbroken to learn the news of his passing. And we spoke to one man who says he's actually a relative of Officer Islam, and he said that Islam's wife, who's currently pregnant with their third child, is due next month. And he also shared that Officer Islam's father is currently in the hospital after he suffered from a stroke last night. 36-year-old Didarul Islam is the brave NYPD officer killed in yesterday's shooting. Islam was on the force for 3.5 years and was assigned to the 47th precinct. He's an immigrant from Bangladesh and was married. He leaves behind 2 young boys and his wife, who is pregnant with their third child.
Just last night, I was just walking my dogs around, and when I stepped there, that's when I saw the other cops giving them the news. So I just recently stopped, just to see what's going on. But the fact I just heard that people were crying, and just a lot of grieving inside that house. A lot of people were crying.
Around midnight, officers lined up as Islam's body was transferred out of New York Presbyterian Weill Cornell Medical Center. A flag draped over his body. Neighbors this morning shocked to hear the news of his passing.
They're very nice people, honestly speaking. Whenever we see them, just greet them, and they're very nice, quiet people, don't bother anybody.
A family member says Islam's father is in the hospital after he had a stroke.
When he go to the hospital, and because he's shocked and he had a stroke.
Islam was off duty yesterday when the shooting happened. He was working a private security detail assignment when he was ambushed by the gunman. He was wearing a uniform, which would have included a bullet-resistant vest, and he was carrying his weapon.
He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice, shot in cold blood, wearing a uniform that stood for the promise that he made to this city.
And Islam's family member tells us that they have the funeral arrangements set. They're just waiting for his body now. Live in the Parkchester section of the Bronx, Jaysha Patel, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Jaysha. We are starting to learn more about the other victims in the shooting as well, including another security guard and 2 executives who worked in the building. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles continuing our live coverage on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Darla.
David, the 2 women killed in this attack both lived here on the Upper East Side. One of them has been identified as a Blackstone executive. Blackstone Senior Managing Director of Real Estate, Wesley LePatner, is one of the first civilians the gunman encountered in the lobby of 345 Park Avenue Monday evening. Police say the mother of 2 was trying to hide behind a pillar when the bullets from an automatic rifle started flying. The shattered glass of this first-floor Blackstone office, a disturbing image of the violence that played out here. Blackstone calling LePatner brilliant, passionate, warm, generous, and deeply respected. The 43-year-old has also been honored by the UJA Federation for her commitment to the Jewish community, releasing a statement saying she was extraordinary in every way, personally, professionally, and philanthropically. An exceptional leader in the financial world, she brought thoughtfulness, vision, and compassion to everything she did. The security guard killed in the lobby has been identified by its union as Alain Etienne, in a statement saying he was a dedicated security officer who took his job duties extremely seriously, calling him a New York hero. We will remember him as such. A third person shot in the lobby works for the NFL, but has not yet been identified by name. Roger Goodell, in a statement to employees today, saying, "One of our employees was seriously injured in this attack. He is currently in the hospital and in stable condition. NFL staff are at the hospital, and we are supporting his family." And the second person who was shot and killed, the second woman, also lived here on the Upper East Side. It's a 27-year-old. She was shot on the 33rd floor. She has not been identified, only as a 27-year-old employee of Rutan Management. The company released a statement that read in part that their family is devastated and heartbroken by this attack. That's the latest for now from the Upper East Side. Reporting live here, Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Darla. Investigators are digging into the gunman's past, trying to get a clearer picture of what led to this carnage. They say he drove from his home in Las Vegas to Midtown. And of course, that note in his pocket claiming he suffered from the brain injury CTE. Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Charlesworth continues our coverage in the newsroom with what we know about the gunman. Michelle?
Well, we have new information about the gunman and the guns. Police say Shane Tamura used an M4-styled semi-automatic PA-15 rifle with a scope and light during this mass shooting. Also, that someone from a gun show called Vegas police in June, just last month, about him, warning about an unusual amount of ammunition he bought and an aftermarket trigger as well. This was an individual with a history of mental illness in his 20s. Las Vegas officials talk about 2 calls of mental distress from him. Friends from high school insist he never showed any signs of issues, but something changed over the years. Saturday, Tamura drove cross country, got to New Jersey yesterday, then to Manhattan to NFL headquarters. He had a concealed carry license in Nevada. This is how he walked in. No effort to conceal an M4 assault rifle as he walked into 345 Park Avenue at East 51st. As he entered the lobby, police say he shot 2 people, including Officer Islam. This was the gunman as a high school player, maybe 10 years ago in California.
Coaches kept telling us, don't hold your heads down. It's just the first half, or it's actually just the first quarter. We just had to keep playing, keep fighting through it.
Police identify him as Shane Devon Tamura, 27, from Las Vegas. He was in body armor, and in his wallet, police say they found a 3-page note condemning the National Football League for concealing the dangers of the game to make money. In the 3-page suicide note found on his body, police say he wrote about brain damage he suffered playing football. He did play in high school as a running back, but got things confused writing he played in the NFL. He did not. In the end, the gunman died when he shot himself in the chest.
It appears to have been that he wanted to preserve his brain for a reason of research.
When he approached the building just before 6:30, Tamura left his BMW at the curb. Inside, a loaded revolver, ammo, and meds in his name. Tamura also had a concealed carry firearms permit issued in 2022 by Las Vegas police. Investigators are looking at the timeline. Tamura had a history of documented mental health issues and had a criminal record that involved trespassing.
Here you have a person that is able to drive from an area where the carry laws are more lax and enter our city and have in possession of an automatic weapon of this magnitude.
In the gunman's handwritten note, you saw a picture of that just moments ago. He requested his brain be studied for chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, which is caused by repeated blows to the head. And tests for that can only happen after someone dies. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Michelle. Just moments ago, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer spoke about the tragedy while on the floor of the Senate. His Manhattan office is just 4 blocks from the site of the shooting, and he spoke emotionally about his connection to the area and about the victims.
I actually worked in the building where the shooting took place for 1 summer as a summer associate at a law firm. One of the victims, Officer Islam, was a husband, a father of 2, with a 3rd baby on the way. He was the best of who we are, a proud Bangladeshi American, a proud cop from the 47th Precinct, a proud New Yorker.
We are learning more about the victims by the minute. Stay with Eyewitness News as we share their stories. And our coverage continues on the next half hour when we speak with former NYPD Chief of Detectives Bob Boyce about where the investigation turns next. And we'll talk to ABC's Dr. Darian Sutton about CTE and at what age it can begin to affect young athletes. All ahead at 12:30.
Of course, our other big story of the day, the dangerous heat wave now peaking.
Yeah, the heat causing severe issues for subway commuters this morning. We'll have all of it coming up.
And we do have a reasonable chance at coming close to a record high this afternoon. That number just went up 4 degrees in Central Park just during the past hour, up to 94. You're up to 98 in Newark. When you take the humidity into account, it feels like 104 on the island at Islip. So no, you do not get relief by heading out onto the island. It feels like 105 from Somerville down to Belmar. So the heat peaking today, 90s last right through tomorrow, along with that heat wave. In terms of thunderstorm activity, spotty tomorrow, but heavier Thursday and Friday. Could be some flooding downpours. That all is going to be worth it because by the weekend, it's going to be amazing. A lot of low humidity and a lot of sunshine. We'll talk about that in your AccuWeather 7-day forecast coming up.
As the Big Apple finds itself in the grips of a heat wave, we are following breaking news involving the subway system. A power failure affecting the signal system is causing widespread delays and cancellations.
Now, we are talking about trouble across nearly the entire alphabet of subway lines. That's the A, the B, the C, the D, the E, the F, and the G. All of those lines are affected. Eyewitness News reporter Crystal Cranmore live at the West 4th Street station in Greenwich Village. Crystal?
Good afternoon, Sandra and David. Well, it's certainly hot and sticky. Not the best day to be dealing with service disruption. So we're dealing with a lot of frustrated commuters. One person telling me that a 40-minute commute turned into a 2-hour commute this morning. So again, we're met with a lot of frustration. But crews are down here. Officials with the MTA are down here overseeing restoring the service. Now, as you can see behind me, and as you mentioned, we have the B and C trains suspended. The A, D, and F trains are delayed in both directions. The MTA, of course, mentioning several alternatives at this point. They're also telling me that the good news is service is already coming back slowly, but officials are not yet out of the tunnel. We know that this all started around 8:30 this morning at the West 4th Street and Washington Square subway station. Officials say low power ultimately affected the signal system on the track. That caused the signals to go to red or stop, preventing trains from actually proceeding. So crews are actively here. They're in the process of resetting the signals. I'm told at this point it appears one of the breakers actually tripped. So crews are still investigating if the heat is to blame for all of this. They did bring a generator in place just in case they do have a power outage. And we know from past coverage that extreme heat can cause a strain on the system. Now, again, for most riders, they experience severe delays, primarily according to officials on the A, B, C, D, and F trains. And as I mentioned earlier, transit officials right now are here overseeing the efforts to restore the signals and restore service. But so far, it's been a mess for commuters.
We got told we had to get off the train midway in the tunnel. And then they said, yeah, everyone get back on. And yeah, it's been a real disaster.
I'm coming from Brooklyn, and I went to Delancey. I think the M and the F were both down. So it's just like, where do you go, you know? Also, I'm not like originally from New York, so I'm still trying to figure out how to get around town.
We were able to reset one of the breakers in the area, and so service is starting to resume at this point. The teams are out there on the tracks. You can see a lot of activity out here. Teams are out here resetting signals to be able to get trains moving and up and running for the early afternoon.
So the MTA at this point is still reporting B and C trains are suspended and ADF trains are still delayed in both directions. But again, this is a very fluid situation. It could change really at any moment. So the best advice right now is to tune into our newscast, of course, for an update, or of course, the MTA digital platforms. For now, we are live in Greenwich Village. Crystal Cranmore, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And head for the buses, right?
Yeah,
above ground.
The last place you want to be on a day like this is stuck in a subway,
Subway platform.
waiting
Forget
for
about
a train. Yeah.
Forget about it. Gonna be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the understatement.
You know, and these heat waves, as they last really long, that's when issues really start arising. Thankfully, this is going to be a 3-day heat wave. It'll be a minimum heat wave in terms of the number of days. However, it kind of makes up for it with the intensity of the heat and humidity out there. And today we could be getting up close to 100 degrees. We are already up near 100 degrees in Newark at this hour, and we could be approaching the record in the city too. The record is 99. That was set back in 1949. Right now we're sitting at 94 degrees. Air quality, yeah, it's not that great. It's kind of hazy out there. We have an AQI of about 71, so air quality is considered moderate right now. We have those air quality alerts in effect right through 11 o'clock. It's going to be mainly due to ground level ozone. Variable wind, just a puff of wind out there, about 3 miles per hour, and with that dew point in the middle and upper 60s, making 94 feel more like 97 degrees. Check this out, hour by hour, temperature versus heat index. So by 3 p.m., that's when we could really be peaking out, 97, 98 degrees or so. It'll feel like 103 in the city. Again, hotter over interior parts of New Jersey, where we have the extreme heat warning in effect, northeastern New Jersey, right through Wednesday. Elsewhere, a heat advisory. 90s will feel like 100 plus, so you want to avoid the strenuous activity and stay in an air-conditioned environment if you can. And for that reason, the same reason for the air quality alert as well, ground level ozone being the main culprit. 98 at this hour at Newark. The record is 100 at Newark. I think we beat that there. 91 at Belmar, 93, no relief on the island at this hour, 90 up into the Hudson Valley at Newburgh. And look what it feels like, 105 at Somerville and Belmar, and with the dew points so high on the island, feeling like 104 at Islip. So here's our futurecast during the afternoon. Again, these temperatures probably peaking out right around 3 or 4 p.m. overnight tonight. Maybe just barely going down to the 80-degree mark for a low temperature. Tomorrow, we'll have a few more clouds in the afternoon. There could be a spotty thunder shower. That'll hold temperatures a couple degrees lower, but the humidity is just going to be so oppressive tomorrow that can more than make up for it. And a couple of these thunderstorms can last into tomorrow evening as well, maybe a little bit more widespread into the early part of the evening. The heat index values this afternoon, basically 100 plus for the entire area, so prepare for that. Right around 3 or 4 o'clock, that peaking out. And then tomorrow, especially south and west of New York City, maintain those really high heat index values. Maybe it doesn't feel quite as hot from the city and points north and east by virtue of the cloud cover and that spotty thunder shower chance. Storms turn more widespread, though, I'm afraid, Thursday into Thursday evening, and they could be slow movers, which means flooding is a distinct possibility in parts of the area by then. Mostly sunny, very hot and humid this afternoon. Again, the record 99, that was set back in 1949. We're going for a high of 98. I mean, if it's going to be this hot, you might as well go for the record at this point. Clear to partly cloudy, warm and stuffy, down to 80 for a low in the city, 70s in the suburbs. Hot and humid tomorrow, sun giving way to more afternoon clouds. Watch for a thunderstorm late, mainly north of town. That high getting up to about 94. Showers and thunderstorms become more widespread on Thursday, especially later in the day. Those could contain some flooding downpours into Thursday evening, and some of that rain can even last into the first half of Friday as well. Wet start out there. Look at how much cooler it is as we begin August on Friday. Only 74 for a high, becoming less humid late in the day, and this all makes way for, as we've been advertising, a fantastic weekend. 80 Saturday, 83 Sunday, and that nice weather continuing into early next week as well.
And we will have earned it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Big time. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jeff. Right. Coming up, terrifying new video of a child on an e-bike colliding with a car in New Jersey. The push from that community for more safety guidelines surrounding e-bikes.
Plus, Sean Combs wants to be released on bail. What his lawyers are saying is the reason the music mogul should be waiting for his upcoming sentencing at home.
And we are digging into the suspect in that Midtown Mass Shooting, looking into his background, what we know about his life on the West Coast, and the brain injury he claimed he had. Dr. Darian Sutton will join us to clear up some of the confusion around CTE.